who will be arresting Silebi at his home early the following morning. I also tipped off a few journalists. It was the only time I ever planted false data in the media. I received calls from 2 separate journalists asking me if I knew anything about an arrest warrant for Jackie Silebi. Of course, I knew one had been issued, but after the unlawful suspension of then National Director of Public Prosecutions, Vusibi Koli, steps had been taken to cancel it. I told the journalist that I had also heard that something would happen early the next day at his house in Pretoria and that he will appear in court soon. The results were far better than I could have hoped for. That morning, at least 20 journalists were gathered outside Silebi's house and the police headquarters, with their long lenses hoping for a shot of Silebi being taken away in handcuffs. It had a tremendous effect. The crooked chief of police must have felt so exposed while he was wrung his hands with worry, wondering whether or not his arrest was imminent. May Commissioner Silebi's soul rest in peace. This comes in O'Sullivan's book. You have got a dedicated chapter, Phahlane, ladies. So, Honorable Chair, I did not come here solely to respond to what the issues that Nkabinde was raising, because there is much more. We spoke earlier about the lady Sarah Jane Trent, an attorney of the High Court. This person happens to be the same complainant in the Ms. Duduzile Zuma is it Sambudla? Yeah. She is the one who is the complainant there. Now, is it ethical for attorneys to be behaving in this manner? In here, I've got an elaborate, I think it's, and by the way, Chair, I'm triggered by the presentation or by the leading of evidence by my evidence leader to raise these things or to respond to these things. JKP 30, what page is it? JKP 30? 30, yeah. 544. I'm still on the Phahlane task team, Chair. I did not go ahead of the evidence leader. 544, JKP 30. I think it goes until it's long. I'm not going to go through. Yeah, it goes up to 600. It's from 544 to 600. These are WhatsApp messages extracted from Sarah Jane Trent's phone when she was arrested by the team that did the investigation. That Camille Drift 12 of 1, 2017. Now, in this, I'm just on page 545. In the middle there, you will see coming from Mandla, the late Mandla. He say, Ndlemesa should be next to be fired. Dash or dash DA. And there is on 546, again, Mandla, because they are reporting to the masters. We are seeing Phahlane tomorrow. You maybe have questions for him. So it's Mandla asking Sergeant Trent. We are seeing Phahlane tomorrow. You'll recall I spoke about a call that I received from Nkabinde on the 22nd of November 2016. And the morning of 23, the morning 23 November 2016, when I received an SMS or a WhatsApp message from Peter Louis Mayberg, and the meeting which I was to honor with IPID that afternoon, I had rescheduled because of other commitments. So this WhatsApp, when you look at it, it was from Mandla to Sarah Jane Trent on the 22nd, and it was around 2:38. And this is around the same time that I received a call from Gavinde asking for a meeting, which I said, please talk to my office. Now, Sarah Jane replies to him, check with Paul, I think it's Mandla, check with Paul, please. Amazing, we'll send to you an email. So they will now go and formulate questions that must be, that I must answer. I must answer to O'Sullivan. There is just a lot in this WhatsApp messages. By the way, here we only make visible that extract of what comes from Sarah Jane Trent's phone, and not the rest that was sourced following the approval of the Section 70 that I've referred to, including the recorded conversations. One of the things that happened here, Chair, was that the same threat assessment report by Crime Intelligence, McBride handed it to O'Sullivan. When O'Sullivan got to the office, he was celebrating that they have got the threat assessment. That is why in there, I think even in the presentation that the council was going through, he pretended that there was a threat assessment. What he did not know is that we have that threat assessment. In actual fact, the copy of the threat assessment is in this affidavit. If you could look for me, Johan, the threat assessment. There was also something I wanted to speak to. Sorry, what was it? 539. Thank you. Don't blame yourself. Oh yeah, here it is. There is a threat assessment which was done by Crime Intelligence. It was declassified here by General Mutiba. 542, comments and recommendations. 4.1, the intelligence gathered clearly indicated that this action is spearheaded by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan and is using IPID as background players. There is the recommendation which led to the appointment of the General Mabula team. Now, when they were celebrating, whoever at Crime Intelligence handed this threat assessment to them would have told them that it doesn't exist. This is the only copy. So this threat assessment, the original thereof, is with Paul O'Sullivan. You won't find it in the records at CI.
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I've seen so many names in this WhatsApp, and I guess, as you said earlier, that it will take a little bit of time. I think it's up to 5 You said up to 600. I've seen names, but you mentioned earlier when you had the book that there was a rogue unit. I didn't get it well. You know, when you say rogue unit, were you saying rogue unit in the police or at IDEC or at SAPS?
Well, the one I know of, it was the Phahlane task team, which happens not to be in the police, but at IPID. That Phahlane task team has now been relocated. They are in IDEC. So that's the rogue unit that at least I can refer to. I know about the SARS rogue unit. I read about it, but no, I don't want to go there. This one in the space where I find myself in.
So, General, in other words, the names will get it later, perhaps, because we'll need those names as well.
No, Chair.
Besides this one, because I saw some names, the journalists, unless you say including them as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can do so. Those that I know.
Thank you, General.
But
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Bangazita.
Honorable Chairperson. Now, just a small question to the General, whether he also is aware that Mr. Nkabinde, when he appeared here, he also confirmed and attests to the existence of the Phahlane task team. Did you follow his evidence here?
I did, Chair, and it accords with his affidavit and the letters that he had presented to the Portfolio Committee of Police then and to the former Minister of Police. No, I'm aware, and that's why it is in a sworn statement coming from him, which I have access to.